Right guys, welcome to Fish with Bish. What I'm talking about today is on your 5-minute Friday, so it must be 5 o'clock, you must be watching, so here we go. Let's put the timer on up there somewhere, and basically what I'm going to do, this is a cross section of a lake. Okay, very much simplified. Right, let's do the water level. Or if you're checking the depth with a plummet, this is what you want to do. So let's just do the line. So obviously it's a pole float, so let's do the first line all the way down to the bottom. Let's do the second line all the way down to the bottom. Let's do the third line again all the way down to the bottom. What I'm going to do is very loosely draw a plummet on the bottom, and what a plummet is basically is just a lead weight which is far heavier than what your float can carry. So basically what it will do is if you're too shallow, it will pull the float under the water. So you've got your line, these three the plummets. Obviously you won't have 3 floats out, that's ridiculous, but basically what I wanted to do is I just want to show you 3 different things that can happen when you put a plummet on your line to check the depth. So what you're doing is you want your float, if you're fishing hard on the bottom, there's a piece of cork on the bottom of one of these plummets. So what happens is you put your hook through an eye on the top. Let's do the eyes on the top. There's a piece of cork underneath, and you drop your line down the side, and you hook your hook into the cork. So you've got a dead straight line. Now, if you're too shallow, then what will happen is, if you've not got it right and your float is too shallow, then what will happen is your pole float, this is obviously very much simplified, there's your pole float, and it'll be underneath the water so you can't see it. So effectively what you have to do then is slide the float up until you get it just right. So that's if you're too shallow, you've done it too shallow. Now if you've done it over depth, then what will happen is the opposite thing. So if you've overestimated how deep it is, then your float will sit similar to this. But if you've got it just right, you probably won't get it right bang on first time, and that's the whole point of checking the depth of a float. You have to slide it down, slide it up if it's under the water, slide it down if it's above. And then what you do is you do this until you get this kind of thing. So basically the float is there, there's the stem of the float, and there's the top of the float. Now depending on how you want to fish it, so you don't want it like that unless you want to fish over depth, because you can do that. So if we imagine that's been taken off and you want to fish hard on the bottom, maybe for a perch or something like that, we've got a worm on there now, then what you need to do is put a shot very low down to your hook. If you want to fish up in the water, this is what you want to do. But if you want to hit dead depth, this is what you're looking for, this side here. And then what you do is you can shot it so that you could get the tip really low down in the water. So you could be in this kind of situation where you're just showing a tiny dot of the float above the water. Maybe if you're fishing for F1s or smaller fish, and the indications aren't that strong. So these are both correct, they're all correct, But if you wanna, this is why you plummet the depth. This is why you're using these plummets. If you can get used to using these, searching around in the water, here's another for instance, right? Here's another for instance for you. If there's a ledge, forget that's there now. So if there's a ledge when you're fishing the margins, what you could do is you plummet the depth there, and it's bang on, it's brilliant, top notch. Could be 4 or 5 inches that way, and look where you are, you're up here, and that's how much over depth you'll be. So the fish could be here, could be playing around with your bait, and you've got no idea. So what you need to do is with your pole, is you come across, you check there, you check there, you check there, and then say you're fishing the far bank, you've checked here, you've got that lovely sweet spot then where you've got over on the bank, there you are, you've plummeted that depth. And what you need to do is you need to start close, and just keep trying, and then you find this spot, which is the slope. Now if you've got a gentle slope, you could be fishing on that slope. You're finding out where the fish are. That's what plummeting is all about, and that's the main reason you plummet, so that you're not under depth, you're not over depth, you're bang on if you want to be, but you need to know where the bottom is. If you want to fish up in the water, you still need to know where the bottom is. You search the lake. This is back onto watercraft. It's always about watercraft. Back onto this here, and there you are, you're on the far bank. There's my big clodhoppers there, and you're fishing across, and this is where your fish are. So another 5-minute Friday from Fish with Bish. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching Fish with Bish. See you real soon.